There's sunshine, fresh air, and the team's behind us. Let's play two. The signature line was made synonymous by the great Ernie Banks. Ernie came to baseball in a time of much adversity for African Americans. He became and is still considered one of the best players in baseball. Good afternoon, class. My name is Elizabeth Reyes, and I will be informing you about the great Ernie Banks, the first African American to play for the Chicago Cubs. He also was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Ernie changed the game of baseball with his speed and accuracy as both shortstop and first baseman. Based on my recent research of the Chicago Cubs and Ernie Banks, I will inform you as to why he was able to overcome adversity in Major League Baseball and to become a Hall of Famer and iconic Chicago Cubs player. I will present information about his early life in Dallas, Texas, rise to the major leagues, his career as a baseball player, all the while keeping a sunny disposition. In the article by Timothy Guilfoyle entitled Making History from Wrigley Field to Outer Space, Ernie's early life was happy. He excelled in a variety of sports, and as a teen he lettered in 3 different sports, none of which were baseball. Playing for his church softball league, Ernie was discovered by Bill Blair, scout for the Kansas City Monarchs. Ernie signed to the Negro League without ever playing on a high school, college, or minor league team. He played for the Amarillo Colts in 1950 and later the Kansas City Monarchs. Guilfoyle's interview with Ernie stated that playing for the Negro League was his college and an extension of his family. He was protected by the legendary Buck O'Neil. Ernie signed with the Chicago Cubs on September 17, 1953, making him the first African American on the team. In the book Carrying Jackie's Torch, written by Stephen Jacobson, Ernie endured a tremendous amount of pressure by his fans and society to be the best. Ernie was welcomed into the organization, but racism was prevalent in Chicago. Having to live on the south side of Chicago, known as the Black Belt of Chicago, when all the other players lived on the north side by Wrigley Field. In the book written by Phil Rogers, Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, in the summer of '69, Ernie quickly became the face of the Cubs franchise, being known as Mr. Cub. He became an MVP years 1958 and '59, becoming the first National League player to win consecutively. Years 1955 through '60, he held the Grand Slam record. Incidentally, he also became the Cubs' first Golden Glove winner in 1960, amassing a grand total of 2,583 hits, 1,636 RBIs, and a whopping 512 home runs throughout his 19 years as a Cub. He also was inducted into Baseball Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility in 1977. He became the first African American to hold an executive position in Major League Baseball. In conclusion, I've now informed you about the important events that took place in Ernie Banks' career as making him the most iconic Chicago Cubs player. From his early life in Dallas, his time spent in the Negro League, to his Hall of Fame induction and the iconic Chicago Club. Ernie Banks achieved greatness through adversity, breaking down color barriers, and is revered as one of the most iconic Cubs players today. Writer Phil Rogers wrote in his book Mr. Cub in the summer of '69 about filmmaker Ken Burns' take on Ernie. Think about it. Who is his mentor? Burns said. It took me a while. Then I was like, duh, his mentor is Buck O'Neil. And what's his message? It was and is kind of joyous tolerance, this affirmation of in the face of adversity, the kind of transcendent grace that through the whole sordid history of our race, that does not for a second suggest that humans are actually made in God's image. Buck resurrects that possibility. I think Ernie is the kind of inheritor of that kind of optimism.